very good morning. You're watching Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start the bulletin with the top stories. Government panel recommends 27% quota for overseas in private sector. Several political parties welcome suggestion. Private sector stands in opposition. Next 48 hours critical, said doctors attending to Lance Naik Hanmantappa, who was pulled out alive from Siachen. President, Prime Minister salute his indomitable spirit. Rahul Gandhi launches scathing attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Kerala, says centre ignoring people's welfare, assures Congress won't tolerate corruption as he lauds work done by Chandi government in Kerala. External Affairs Minister leads all-party delegation to Kathmandu, pays homage to deceased former Prime Minister Sushil Koirala. Funeral to be conducted with full state honours today. And after losing Iowa, Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders win their respective party primaries in New Hampshire in the presidential nomination contest in the United States. Political parties have united in their response to a government panel recommendation for quota in the private jobs. The National Commission for Backward Classes has recommended 27% reservation for overseas. The industry has called the recommendation impractical.
A government panel has recommended 27% reservation in private sector jobs for candidates belonging to other backward classes.
Day by day, गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर की नौकरियां कम हो रही हैं, प्राइवेट सेक्टर की नौकरियां हो रही हैं और प्राइवेट सेक्टर के लिए जो लेजिस्लेशन होना चाहिए था वो अभी तक नहीं हुआ है. वी फील कि इट इज ए वेरी अप्रोप्रिएट टाइम कि ये होना चाहिए. इसीलिए कमीशन ये महसूस किया कि कमीशन सरकार से रिकमेंड करे और रिक्वेस्ट करे.
Social Justice Minister Thawar Chand Gehlot has said that an official level committee has been formed and consultation with industrialists and corporate leaders are on. There seems to be union among political parties for this move.
Question of giving to private companies, that imposing this restriction on the private company is totally against the constitutional principle. Private companies raise their own funds, they create a company and it has to be on merit.
हम लोगों का तो आज से नहीं, दलित सेना में जब थे तब से पार्टी का लोक जनशक्ति पार्टी बनी, तब से हम लोगों का डिमांड है और मांग कर रहे हैं कि निजी क्षेत्र में आरक्षण होना चाहिए. चूंकि जितने पब्लिक अंडरटेकिंग्स हैं वो सारे के सारे पब्लिक अंडरटेकिंग्स जो है वो सब प्राइवेट में जा रहे हैं, सरकारी संस्थाएं प्राइवेट में जा रही है.
कमीशन ने जो रिपोर्ट दी है वो तर्कसंगत है. जब समूचे देश में प्राइवेटाइजेशन हो रहा हो, जब टोटल डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट हो गया हो प्राइवेट सेक्टर का, उस समय प्राइवेट सेक्टर से आप इन समाज के वंचित समूह को नौकरियों से अलग नहीं रख सकते.
रोजगार के अवसर सबसे ज्यादा अब प्राइवेट सेक्टर्स में हैं, तो इसलिए प्राइवेट सेक्टर में भी अगर ओबीसी को अवसर मिलता है तो मैं समझता हूं कि राष्ट्रीय एकता के लिए, नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन के लिए अच्छा होगा.
The corporate world has given it a thumbs down.
अगर किसी के पर किसी एक समाज के भाग में डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ना हो या बैकवर्डनेस जितना ज्यादा ना हो तो ये रिजर्वेशन पूछने में कोई मतलब नहीं है. और हम समझते हैं कि इसलिए जो लोग पूछते हैं उन्होंने अच्छी स्टडी नहीं की है, वो पॉलिटिकल रीजन से कर रहे हैं और प्राइवेट सेक्टर में रिजर्वेशन नहीं लाना है.
It is not possible. You see, government can enunciate and come out with any policies, but please remember it is for private sector to do what is right for their companies. They cannot start posing and imposing these kind of restrictive policies.
Though job reservation in private sector, especially for SC/STs, has been discussed among pressure groups and in political forums, this is the first time that a formal recommendation from the National Commission for Backward Classes has come for job quota in the private sector. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In a fresh attempt to end the political impasse in Jammu and Kashmir, BJP General Secretary Ram Madhav will hold talks with PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti next week after the 40-day mourning period for the death of Mufti Muhammad Saeed ends. While the BJP wants to end the uncertainty over government formation before the budget session, The PDP leadership wants BJP to spell out the confidence-building measures the centre is willing to take for the people of the state. The PDP also wants the union government to make some concessions on its Kashmir-centric political agenda, including relaxation in the controversial Armed Forces Special Powers Act, a demand that the BJP has rejected in the past. Now, as the uncertainty continued, Governor N.N. Vohra met Home Minister Rajnath Singh in Delhi and discussed the way forward in the state, which is under central rule since the 8th of January, following the death of Chief Minister Mufti Mohammed Saeed. Well, a two-day governors' conference is being held at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. On the inaugural day, President Pranab Mukherjee presided over the conference. During his inaugural address at the conference, the president stressed on the rising pollution levels in Indian cities and urged for urgent steps to tackle the problem. The president said citizens of this country have a right to lead a healthy, happy and productive life. He added climate change has moved centre stage in policy formulation and its ill effects are visible in the abnormal behaviour of nature in recent times. 23 governors and 2 lieutenant governors of states and union territories are attending the two-day conference, along with the President, Vice President Muhammad Hamid Ansari, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj are also attending the event. A host of other leaders from various ministries are also participating in the event. Now, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi virtually launched the party's election campaign in Kerala yesterday. Addressing the party workers in Thiruvananthapuram, he launched a scathing attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Assuring the people that the Congress will not tolerate corruption of any degree, Rahul commended the work done by the Oomen Chandy government in the state. He will conclude his visit today.
Rahul Gandhi's address to Congress workers at the conclusion of the Jan Raksha Yatra turning out to be the launchpad of the party's election campaign in the state. The Congress Vice President's target was Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whom he attacked on several occasions during his 30-minute speech.
You will never see the Prime Minister of India near farmers, near labourers. You will never see a photograph of the Prime Minister of India holding hands with farmers or talking to farmers.
Rahul also alleged that the BJP under the leadership of Narendra Modi came to power in 2014 on a campaign of hate and divide among various sections. The left, that is a Congress-led coalition's biggest challenge in Kerala, was Rahul's next big target. He said that the opposition's ideologies are obsolete.
Congress ideology is about bringing people together, about creating harmony and peace in society. Our leaders and our workers understand that you have to create a balance between economic growth and between helping the poor people of the country. And this is something that neither the RSS, BJP nor the communists seem to understand.
The UDF has been facing heat in Kerala, with several ruling ministers, including the Chief Minister, under fire for alleged involvement in the solar and bar bribery scams. Rahul Gandhi assured that the Congress will have zero tolerance towards corruption while commending the work done by Oomen Chandy government.
The Congress party will not compromise on corruption. I want to make it very clear, if there is even this much concrete evidence of corruption, the Congress party will take immediate and strict action.
Rahul will conclude his Kerala tour today with a visit to the startup village in Kochi and address to the National Executive Meet of the NSUI. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The BJP, of course, has reacted to Rahul's allegations against the Prime Minister and the central government. Let's listen in.
Sharing deals with Oomen Chandy, in whose name serious allegations are there, his brother-in-law, his sister's husband, Mr. Vadera, is facing corruption charges. There are ample evidence against his brother-in-law also, Rahul Gandhi is entertaining people. He doesn't know what he is saying.
Well, India is praying for the survival of Lance Naik Hanmantappa, who was pulled out alive from under 25 feet of snow in Siachen and is now battling for survival at the Research and Referral Hospital in Delhi. He is currently in coma and has been placed on ventilator support. Doctors say his condition is extremely critical and the next 2 to 3 days will be very crucial for him. His family has also been flown to Delhi to be by his side. Lance Naik Hanmantappa Kopad, who was miraculously found alive after remaining buried under snow for 6 days in Siachen, is now in coma and his condition is said to be critical.
He has been diagnosed with severe pneumonia and his lungs and liver are also reported to be dysfunctional. Doctors at the Army Research and Referral Hospital say the next 48 hours will be stormy for the Jawan. A team of intensivists, neurologists, nephrologists, endocrinologists and surgeons have been pressed into service to do all they can to save the braveheart soldier.
अभी जितना मैक्सिमम सपोर्ट दे सकते हैं, जो कुछ अवेलेबल है वो सब उनको मिल रहा है. सो बेसिक ऐसे स्थिति में नॉर्मली पहले 48 आवर्स क्रिटिकल होते हैं. बाकी जो कुछ है थोड़ी ऊपर वाले की भी मर्जी रहती है.
As the Lance Naik battles for his survival, his family was brought to Delhi from Dharwad. An overwhelmed family said it was like a rebirth for all of them.
मैं बोल ही नहीं सकते, उतना खुशी हुआ हमको, पूरा परिवार को हमको बहुत खुश हुआ. हमारा मामू ने बच के आया ना, बहुत खुश हुआ हमको.
ಹಿಂದಿನ ಪ್ರಯಾಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜಿಯವರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ತಾಯಿಯವರು, ನಮ್ಮ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್ ತಾಯಿಯವರು, ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರೇರಣೆ ಬಾಳಿದೆ. ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತ ರೀತಿಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಕರೆನ ಪುನರ್ಜನ್ಮ ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತದ. ಮತ್ತೇನು
ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದೆ?
ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದೆ ರೀ. ನಾವೀಗ ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆನ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಸೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಯಾವ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೇನೋ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸಾಗ್ತಿದೆ.
ಭರವಸೆ ಇತ್ತು ಅದು. ಭರವಸೆ ಏನಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಮೊಗ್ಗದಾಗ ಬಂದು ನಾನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಕನಸಿನಾಗ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಂಗೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ರೀ. ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಕನಸಿನಾಗ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತಿದ್ರಿ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಾನು ಮನಸ್ಸು ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡೇನಿ ರೀ.
Prayers continue to pour in for the brave soldier. His indomitable spirit and ability to endure adverse conditions was lauded by President Pranab Mukherjee. Prime Minister Narendra Modi too described him as an outstanding soldier and paid him a visit at the hospital in Delhi. Meanwhile, bodies of all the 8 remaining soldiers have also been recovered from the huge mass of ice on the Siachen Glacier, 7 days after they got buried under an avalanche that hit their high-altitude military post. Their mortal remains will be flown to their hometowns after due formalities. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Shifting focus to some other news now, the deposition of Lashkar-e-Taiba operative David Coleman Headley before a Mumbai court has been delayed temporarily due to a technical snag in the video conferencing. It is not known whether the deposition for the day will be cancelled. On the second day, on Tuesday, Headley made more startling revelations that detail the extent of Lashkar's planning before the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. Headley told the court yesterday that the terror outfit had planned an attack a year before 26/11. At that time, they were targeting India's defense scientists. That attack was called off as the scientists' meet was also cancelled. More revelations in this report.
Lashkar-e-Taiba planned to target India's defense scientists a year before the 26/11 strikes. The attack was averted when the meeting of the scientists was called off. The LET operative turned approver David Coleman Headley also testified that Pakistan's inter-services intelligence had asked him to recruit Indian army men to spy for them.
I did ask him, why did you videograph the second floor of Hotel Taj? On my query, he replied that Lashkar-e-Taiba wanted to attack on a particular day when the Indian scientist conference was going to be held.
Headley also revealed in court on Tuesday that he had conducted a recce of the Taj Mahal Hotel, the Naval Air Station and the Siddhivinayak Temple on his visits to India. Headley claims he also selected the landing sites for the terrorists. Headley used GPS during his visits to Mumbai so that the exact location of targets and locations in the Arabian Sea could be stored. Headley says he handed over all the photographs, videos and the GPS to Sajid Mir and Abu Kahfa.
He has disclosed his close association with ISI, and he said that he was working for ISI also. I did ask him to whom he was knowing about the ISI people. He said that Brigadier Riaz, then he said Colonel Shah. He also said that Lieutenant Colonel Hamza and one Major Samar Ali. Initially he said that Samar Ali, he don't know exact, but when pointed out his telephone number which he had saved in his email account, then he readily agreed. David Headley further confirmed that ISI and Lashkar-e-Taiba had a close nexus with each other. I did ask him how you can say that and on what ground you say that. Then he said that ISI provides the financial, then moral, as well as the military support to the Lashkar-e-Toiba.
During the deposition, Headley has, as was expected, revealed a lot of details about his various associations with the elite ISI formations, individuals and organizations, and how he went about planning a number of things along with the other people. So we'll have to wait till we get to the completion of his evidence, after which we will weigh the various pieces of evidence that he has thrown up, and we'll try to incorporate in our case so as to make our case solid.
Meanwhile, the US has said it was ready to assist India in pursuing every possible lead to bring the perpetrators of the attack to justice. US State Department spokesperson John Kirby said his country's commitment was indicative of the close ties between India and America. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And look now at all the other news and events lined up for today in our segment, The Day Ahead. BJP President Amit Shah will be in Assam today to attend the 14th Bodoland Day celebrations. Celebrations to mark 14 years of the historic Bodo Accord will be held in Kokrajhar. This will also be Amit Shah's maiden visit to Kokrajhar. Later in the day, he is also scheduled to meet party workers at Nagaon. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal will chair a meeting today on the second phase of the odd-even scheme in Delhi. The meeting will be attended by officials from all departments concerned. The city government is keen on bringing back the vehicle rationing scheme to check the rising air pollution. Before relaunching the scheme, the Aam Aadmi Party government has also held public consultations in all assembly constituencies, seeking people's opinion on the second phase of the odd-even formula. NATO defence ministers will meet in Brussels today to discuss bolstering troop presence in Poland and the Baltic states. NATO is planning its biggest build-up in Eastern Europe since the Cold War, backed by a four-fold increase in US military spending in Iraq. However, only 4 of the 26 European members of NATO are currently meeting defence spending target of 2% of the GDP. Time for a very short break here. All the international news to follow on the other side. Do stay with us.
Breaking tomorrow on Rajya Sabha television. One of the greatest scientific discoveries of our lifetime. A major scientific achievement that will change our understanding of the universe. Live on Rajya Sabha television. 8 p.m. onwards on the 11th of February. Keep watching.
All the parties, they are looking for political marriages at the moment. They are trying to enter into some kind of an alliance. But yours is the only party which is focusing you as the chief ministerial candidate.
In this election, we are the one who will allocate the seats. And that's not going to be the opposite leg.
Another reality of your party is that it is seen as a very casteist party.
PMK is the only party who has done maximum for the Dalits than any party in Tamil Nadu.
Watch To The Point with PMK leader Dr. Ambumani Ramadas only on Rajya Sabha television.
Thanks for staying with us on Breakfast News. Now, in his first state visit, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, will arrive in Delhi. He will hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on key issues, including security and stability of the Gulf region, which is home to over 7 million Indians. Talks are also expected to focus on cooperation in strategic areas of trade and energy, as that region is the source of nearly 2/3 of India's crude oil requirements and its largest trading partner as well. UAE alone contributes significantly to India's energy security and was the 6th largest supplier of crude oil to India in 2014-15. The visit by the Crown Prince comes nearly 6 months after Prime Minister Modi's trip to UAE, during which the two countries agreed to elevate the relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership. About 2.6 million strong Indian community forms the largest expatriate group in the UAE. Heading to Nepal now, where the former Prime Minister Sushil Koirala's funeral will be held today with full state honours. He passed away at his home in Kathmandu due to pneumonia yesterday. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, along with an all-party delegation, is currently in Nepal. They paid homage to Koirala after arriving in Kathmandu. Members of the high-level delegation comprises Congress leader Anand Sharma, JDU President Sharad Yadav, CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechury and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. The leaders also extended their condolences to family members of the former Prime Minister. After paying homage to the Nepali Congress President, Swaraj met party leaders Ramchandra Paudel and Krishna Prasad Sitola. Today, Sushma Swaraj will also meet Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and President Vidya Devi Bhandari. Billionaire Donald Trump has won the New Hampshire's Republican presidential nominating contest. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders won the Democratic primary, beating his rival Hillary Clinton. After the primary win, Trump remains the front-runner in the race to be the party's White House nominee for the November 8th election. He had campaigned to deport illegal immigrants and temporarily ban Muslims from entering the United States. Sanders had called for eradicating income inequality.
I love you all. Thank you very much.
The U.S. state officials recorded a historic turnout in the New Hampshire primary. During the last week, Ted Cruz won the Iowa caucus for the Republicans and Hillary Clinton for the Democrats. The primary will give momentum to the winners heading on to the next contest in South Carolina and Nevada.
Shortly after the polls closed, Secretary Clinton called and was very gracious in her congratulations. I thank her for her call, and I congratulate her and her supporters for the vigorous campaign they ran in New Hampshire.
I have to thank the candidates because they really ran. We have some very talented people. And to be victorious against some of these people, even if it's for 1 week, but believe me, it's going to be for many weeks, okay? But they really are. They're terrific. A number of them called, and I just wanted to thank them, but I wanted to congratulate the other candidate. We have some real talent in the Republican Party.
Moving to China now, which has confirmed its first case of imported Zika virus. According to the Chinese state news agency, the Zika virus was detected in a 34-year-old man who had traveled from Venezuela to his home in Ganxian County, Jiangxi province. He was quarantined and was being treated in a hospital in Ganxian since the 6th of February. He is now recovering with a regulated body temperature and fading rash. Meanwhile, the U.S. states of Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee and Delaware announced the first human cases of Zika. The World Health Organization has called for caution after 3 deaths were reported in Colombia related to the Zika virus. However, they have not issued any specific recommendation on travel as of now. And in another tragic incident, at least 10 people were killed after a head-on collision between 2 passenger trains in the German state of Bavaria on Tuesday. 81 people were reportedly injured. 17 are reported to be in a critical condition. The mishap took place during the morning rush hour along a 6-kilometer stretch between the spa town of Bad Aibling and Kolbermoor in Bavaria near the Austrian border. The German transport minister said both trains were traveling at around 100 kilometers per hour. Officials suspect both train drivers had no visual contact before the crash as the site is on a bend. 2 data recorders on board the trains have been recovered. German officials have launched an investigation into the incident. Chancellor Angela Merkel expressed dismay over the crash.
Wie gesagt, keiner bei uns hat sich jemals vorstellen können, dass so ein dramatisches Unglück passiert. Ich meine, das System Bahn ist das sicherste Transportmittel, was es gibt. Wir machen die ganzen Notfallübungen, unsere Leute sind ausgebildet, aber trotzdem kann man sich nie ganz auf so einen Tag vorbereiten. Einfach der Schmerz.
We don't know. The criminal police was here and they looked for the reason. A week, 2 weeks, we don't know it. We have some black boxes.
The United Nations has said nearly 3 lakh Syrians could be cut off from food supplies if government forces encircle rebel-held parts of Aleppo. The warning comes as battle rages on between the Assad forces and rebels in the region. Last week, a road from Turkey used by the World Food Programme to reach eastern Aleppo was blocked by government forces. Meanwhile, the Turkish borders have flooded with refugees fleeing for life from the war-torn country. The UN called on Turkey to let in nearly 30,000 people stranded on its border. According to aid workers, facilities at the border have been overwhelmed, forcing people to sleep outside in the bitter cold weather. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, with Russian support, is on a bid to secure the border with Turkey and recover control of Aleppo from the rebels.
Also allowed a number of vulnerable and wounded people in Turkey. However, many people are not being allowed to cross the border, and we are asking Turkey to open its border to all civilians from Syria who are fleeing danger and seeking international protection, as they have done since the start of this crisis.
Let's take a look now at all the other international stories in our segment World Wrap. US President Barack Obama has unveiled a new cybersecurity national action plan. It comes after reports of major data breaches and cyber attacks on both government and private networks in recent years. Obama asked for $19 billion for cybersecurity efforts in his budget request, a 35% increase from the current levels. Out of this, $3 billion will be earmarked to help modernize the patchwork of computer systems used in government agencies. In a major blow, the US Supreme Court stalled President Barack Obama's plans to regulate carbon emissions from power plants. The court ruled Obama's Clean Power Plan could not go forward until all legal challenges were heard. Obama had pledged to cut emissions by 32% by the year 2030 at the UN climate negotiations held in Paris in December 2015. The US today said that North Korea could soon have enough plutonium for nuclear weapons after restarting one of its reactors. US Intelligence Chief James Clapper said Pyongyang had also taken steps towards making an intercontinental ballistic missile system. The international community has been cautious after the North launched a long-range rocket days before. North Korea had carried out its fourth nuclear test early in January. And in news from the 12th South Asian Games now. Indian track and field athletes, swimmers and archers dominated the fifth day of the competition as well. The most stunning performance came from the swimmers, who swept 7 gold medals, with Sajan Prakash, Saurabh Sangwekar, Malavika V and PS Madhu making new games record. On the first day of athletics, India bagged 6 gold, 5 silver and 3 bronze. While in archery, the hosts won all the 5 gold in recurve event, finishing the competition with 10 gold and 4 silver. India also won a gold each in men's and women's volleyball, as medals also poured in from cycling, weightlifting, table tennis and wushu. India's gold rush in the competition is expected to continue, as 6 Rio Olympics-bound shooters are likely to clinch most of the gold medals on offer when shooting event kickstarts today. So as of now, in the medals tally, India are way ahead with 78 gold, 36 silver and 10 bronze medals. Sri Lanka are in the second place with 17 gold, 37 silver and 33 bronze, while Pakistan are third with 5 gold, followed by Bangladesh with 4 gold medals. Moving on to cricket now. A depleted Sri Lankan side defeated India by 5 wickets in the first T20 match at Pune. Batting first, India could only manage 101 runs as they were bowled out in 18.5 overs. Lankan paceman Kasun Rajitha ran through Indian top order as he removed top 3 batsmen inside the first 5 overs. R. Ashwin saved blushes for the home side as he made 31 not out and pushed Indian score above 100. Chasing the small total, Sri Lanka lost both openers early, but Dinesh Chandimal and Chamara Kapugedra guided the visitors towards victory. Sri Lanka now lead the 3-match series 1-0. The second T20 match will be played in Ranchi on the 12th of February. 3-time champions India continued their invincible run to enter the ICC Under-19 World Cup final for a 5th time with an emphatic 97-run win over Sri Lanka in the semi-finals in Mirpur yesterday. Batting first, India had a shaky start but did well to reach 267 for 9 with help of half-centuries from Anmolpreet and Sarfaraz Khan. Indian bowlers then put up an impressive effort with the ball to dismiss Sri Lanka for 170 in 42.4 overs. Anmolpreet Singh was named man of the match for his gritty 72 runs. The men in blue now await either West Indies or hosts Bangladesh in the final to be played on the 14th of February. That's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.